So this morning, I'm going to be talking about love beyond the building. I'm going to do it a little different way. We're going to have a couple of interviews here, all right? So the sermon is going to come from us in this way. As you just kind of contemplate the idea of the scripture that was just read, I want you to kind of think about some of the things that came out of that. I have a couple of just observations as we think today, all right? As I think about love beyond the building, this scripture a little bit talks about Jesus emptying himself and coming here to earth. You remember the old saying, Elvis has left the building? Well, it was a little bit that Jesus has left heaven. You know what I mean? He literally went beyond the comfort of his world and life and began to try to find ways to be able to hear us, see us, understand us, be with us. And here's the wild thing. If Jesus left heaven, emptied himself in the sense of not trying to grasp or be God in this way, but he was able to come to earth and be fully human for us. Well, he came in an unexpected way. Think about it. If you were God and you were going to show up here on earth, would you show up as a baby that couldn't talk, had to have their diapers changed, to an unwed mother in the Jewish community in a small little town? I mean, we make the nativity out to be this grand, amazing thing where angels show up and the wise men show up, all that. And it's not that glamorous. Jesus came in an unexpected way. Jesus also had an unexpected ministry. Wouldn't you think Jesus would move into the political positions and become, president or prime minister or to make changes in the world? Wouldn't you think? That's not how Jesus did it. Jesus actually just got together with 12 kind of scrungy guys and a whole bunch of amazing women and basically said, let's try to change the world one person at a time. He was frying fish and giving talks on the water and healing people. Do you see, it was a wild and crazy kind of unexpected way that Jesus loved and cared for people. He cared for all kinds of people, as we've been talking about. Pastor Paul has been doing the whole sermon on the people that he reached. But in reality, he really didn't make the big splash that you think God would make. He had an unexpected ministry here in the world. The other thing is, I think he has an unexpected invitation for us. Like, wouldn't you think Jesus would say, set up a whole religion? That didn't even happen till 70 years after he was gone, when the temple was destroyed. Christianity didn't really even appear. They were meeting in the outer courts of the temple as Jewish people, as Jesus worshiped. It was kind of weird. He didn't set that up right at the first. Or you'd think that Jesus would have set up a big council. He said, no, just go to this room and wait. Like that just doesn't seem like big instructions that you would leave to try to create a world movement. But he did say something very, very significant. He said it at the beginning of his ministry, throughout his ministry, at the end of the ministry. And it were key words. And he said, come, follow me. Come and follow me. And follow the example that I have given you. And it's love. It's the idea of loving each and every person, no matter how high or low. And I think that's the message that God in heaven could not give to people here on earth. Because there were, the benediction that we give each week, there were no hands, there were no feet, there were no mouth, there were no acts of kindness until Jesus as God could come here and show us how to love beyond the building, beyond the religion, beyond the temple, beyond the politics, beyond the theology. Do you see how powerful it is that Jesus simply asks us to love? Now, the reason why we gather like this is the same reason why Jesus gathered just with his 12. or just with the 3 even. He gathered with 3 special disciples, or the 12 disciples, or the 2,000, or the 5,000, right? There were ways in which he gathered people together. And today, in this time, in this sanctuary, it is important for all of us to be together in a safe place. But that's not enough. Jesus said we've got to go outside, go and be with the people where they are, just as God didn't just hang out in the safety of heaven. God came to be incarnate, be God in flesh with us to show us how that happens. Well, what I'd like to do is take this passage and share with you what we are doing beyond the building. And I'd like to do that with a couple of other people. So in a moment, I'm going to have them come up. But here is one of our activities. This is the burrito breakfast. You hear about it all the time. We now have a poster that sits out front on the 4th Saturday of the month. And they'll kind of rotate through these. And you could see where remember, this is what we did. We started back during the pandemic because we had the pancake breakfast. And we did a design team. We said, how is it that we can actually create what the burrito breakfast or what the pancake breakfast was, but in the safety? And so we did a design team, we figured it out, we were able to do it outside, and we changed from pancakes to burritos. And you can keep going through the slides there if you want. And so you can see here's a number of people who are being served. I mean, it is great fun. And we've had a number of, look at the kids there from the Cub Scouts to the youth group. And then we have a Lutheran school. The girls' basketball team came out. That was just a huge group of people. In a minute, you'll see a slide of all the volunteers just from that Saturday. So look at that. That's just the volunteers that came out for that Saturday. And we invite you, if you've never done it before, you should come on out and just stand around with us, be with us, enjoy the time, see our family and friends that come and enjoy. And there's Neil there. So I've asked if Perry might come up and share a little bit. He runs the the burrito breakfast right now with us. The logistics of, that's true. Sorry, I keep popping here. I'm going to move this down a little bit. So, all right. So, as you think about the burrito breakfast, your heart, as you kind of see the different groups of people that are kind of coming and sharing, what thoughts do you have as you see, like the volunteers?
I love to see all the different groups that come out to share the burden and the joy of serving others. I don't really see it as a burden, but it is a project. So burden might not be the right word, but I love the fact that there's other groups, like you said, the Orange Lutheran girls basketball squad that came out. We've had the Boy Scout Troop 292 that's been out many times. We're going to have Girl Scouts this coming month. I just got confirmation text this morning, good. So they will be here this month, and which I won't be, but but that'll be good that they will be. Neil, as you mentioned in the picture, he's from Redemption Ministry. It's his own foundation where he comes out and he hands out hygiene bags and other things that are needed for men and women. He's got multiple bags where, different size of clothing in them and stuff. So, he came out one time and he just loved it. He used to bring his daughters, but now they help their mom with their little sister at home. But he felt comfortable enough to come out and do that with them. There's another group that a couple of the boys were in the picture from the school that Sandy Curtis used to work at or still works at. Karen came from there. Karen is our new shopper. Terry loves that fact because that helps Terry out a lot. But she loved the program so much that she volunteered to do that. She grew up in Fullerton, close to here, so she used to hear the bells. So she was very, oh, it's that church when she came to do it, because of our bells. So she just loved it. So now she's our shopper.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how she connected with us.
Yeah, I love that. Well, now you're saying like you lead the whole, you facilitate the whole thing, and you won't even be here the next time. You know what I mean?
Correct.
But look, see, I think even Terry, maybe the first time we did it, you weren't able to be at the very first one, and she did it before, and she trained you, and now we're looking for someone to think about coming into your position, that you'll train them. But it's not this overwhelming task, is it? I mean,
Not really. You just got to, you just need to make sure that you're here in time to get things set up so we're ready to accept our guests. This month I've tagged Don behind me for that one. He's going to help me out with that since I won't be here. But Don has a crew that comes out to help set up, which we much appreciate, all the guys that come out, because one of the things we do is we talk in our debrief afterwards. And one of the things, all the ladies are, we don't have enough guys. If we don't have enough guys, we're not going to be able to set up my back, this, that, and the other. So they were concerned about that. So I talked to Don, and this past month, he brought out the crew. So that helps a lot.
Keith and the gang.
Yep,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep, absolutely. Mark.
Yeah, and so you were mentioning the idea that we do the debrief, and when we first started with the debrief, it was really important to find out, like, oh, we need another can opener, or we need, like there's all these kinds of things. And now it's become kind of a rhythm. And we do another thing that's kind of unique that we've just started to do. Do you want to share just a...
One of the things, we do talk about those things. Did anybody see anything that we could improve on? That's always how we open it out. But we also started this past month talking about how grateful we are for each other and the time to serve. And it's just a time of community and, mini church on Saturday. Yeah. I mean, it's because that's what we're doing in the parking lot too, is, being the church to those folks who come. We open it up with your prayer and, and we serve with a grateful heart, a gracious heart, and, and it's accepted gratefully. So, so I mean, that part for the rest of us at the end of it is just as important to follow up that way.
Well, one of the things that we get to do here is we get to create this opportunity for people to love beyond the building. Now, there are, you mentioned the volunteer groups that may or may not be connected to any spiritual group or whatever, but they love coming and being a part of community and sharing. But there are even people from other churches, like you had mentioned, Neil. But there are others that their church doesn't have this opportunity. So we're not only serving those in the wider community, but we're even serving some people whose churches don't have this opportunity.
Yeah, the Lee family is a perfect example of that. Brian, Tammy, and Austin. Austin's been coming since he was 8 years old, working with the pancake breakfast. He just graduated high school this past year. I lost him as my grill cooker on the potatoes because he got a job with Toyota because he wants to be a mechanic. So good for him. I'm happy for him. But I'm back on potatoes. So if anybody's willing to do that, let me know. Yeah. But otherwise, I love doing it. And if that's what my role is moving forward, if we find another coordinator, potatoes are fine with me because I love doing that and I love being here doing it on those Saturdays. All right. Well, and I bring out my family as well.
Yes, absolutely.
In the pictures, my oldest son, when he was home in December, he was in one of the Christmas pictures, handing out scarves and, so.
Yeah, and Owen has been just amazing.
Right. And Owen, and just so you know, Owen and his girlfriend, I should say.
Yeah.
They were here last month, or this past week, or when we did it, but they're going to be talking to their FFA group because they're officers of the FFA to try to get them to come out to volunteer as well, because high school kids need volunteer hours, plus they feel that it's a good thing for them to, a good way for them to serve.
I love that. Thank you so much, Perry. I appreciate it. That's great. Thank you. Yes, absolutely. So, along with the breakfast, it continues to evolve. And we try different things. Some things work, some things don't. Like, especially during the pandemic, there was no other place around for the Muslim Health Clinic to come over, Crescent Health Clinic to come over. And so they were able to serve here. We had the America's Best eyeglasses came out. We've had a number of different groups that have been able to use the parking lot while we're serving our breakfast, where they're able to engage with our community and our friends. So that's pretty good. Joni also has just thought of an interesting thing and tried to solve that, and that was that people needed lunch. So she is now, Rachel and her are packing peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and sodas and that kind of thing. And so if you're interested in helping out with that, you could help pack those and give those to her or make sure they're here on that 4th Saturday as well. So you could contact Joni on that because that's one of the ways that it's been expanding. The other thing is, I was wondering if Jen, you might be able to come up and well, we'll just tell the story. It's kind of a fun thing. Yeah, so, all right. So the burrito breakfast has been going on and things have been happening, and you had just an opportunity come up to you that maybe some of us have and we don't even know about. But talk to me a little bit about, you gave me a call, so.
Okay, yeah, sure. So God is good. He has all the resources. It just takes people to grab them and, say, hey, I've got the money. So sometimes it's like, oh, we have the resources, but where can we use them? Or like, I know someone who would like to make a bigger donation. Can you use it? And of course, it's usually like, yes, we can use your money. So long story short, I've been a member of Thrivent Financials for a couple of years. They just take care of all my financials and insurances and stuff. And they have a program called Action Teams. And they've been bugging me for years, like, you need to spend the money, you need to spend the money. And I'm like, okay. So it's not my own money, but it's through this organization. And they allow me 2 action teams per year where I basically just put in a very short application and say like, hey, my church or a nonprofit organization I volunteer at, we want to go out and do this, can you help us? And so Thrivent will give us $250 of seed money, they call it, and provide us with other resources and tools to get this thing started. And to be honest, I just felt like I don't have a lot of time on my hand, but I have this money. So I went to call Pastor Spencer, and he said, of course, we can use this. That's not going to be a problem. What would you like to do? And I said, I don't want to invent the wheel. We have this mission beyond the building, and just let me know what you would like to use this money for, and I will help, and I will help organize this and get the money from the organization. And then we had a short talk, and we found this, or you proposed this project.
Yeah, so you can hang on it for a moment. So during the leadership retreat that we had with the church, we were having some discussions and whatever, and a group of people said, wow, it would be great if we could have a closet of clothing and everything else for our 4th Saturday. And we're just not equipped to be able to do that. And on the 1st and 3rd Saturday of the month, the Vine actually does provide clothing and everything else. But it sparked our imagination. And Pastor Paula sat there and said, well, if we can't do it here, who could we partner with that's out in the community? Again, we don't have to do it all. We should be partnering with people out in the community. And so we thought of the Assistance League. And we talked to Gigi, because she works over there. And she said, yeah, we do a voucher system. And so we thought, wow, well, what if we were able to purchase some vouchers, and then maybe even if anybody wanted to match those vouchers, just an idea. Okay, so we could find ways in which people could then have these vouchers that would be like a $10, $25 voucher, and we'd sign it, Pastor Paul would sign it. It'd be very unique, so someone couldn't forge it or whatever. But then people that are in our community that we look and say, wow, that their children might need something, or they're getting ready to go back to school, or they're doing something where they might need some clothing that's over at the Assistance League, they could take that voucher over and redeem it for that amount of money that's at the Assistance League. So we don't have to have the whole closet here and everything else. Someone's already doing that. So I just proposed the idea, well, what if that program, which we were just thinking about, and at the same exact time, coincidentally, you came in and it was this kind of thing. And so how did you respond, or how did you feel about that as that idea came as you were thinking about how you might be able to utilize your...
I love it. It just fits into our mission, the whole Beyond the Building, and Thanksgiving and Christmas are coming up, and maybe there will be a family saying, hey, we can really use those vouchers to buy Christmas presents.
Yeah.
I mean, the need will always be there, and I encourage it with my whole heart.
I love that. Okay, hang on one second. I got one thing for you here. New member of the Compass and Whistle fraternity. Here we go. All right. So I knight you with.
Yay,
there we
thank
go.
you.
All right. That's great. And again, if you don't know the compass and the whistle, the compass is to help show us in a direction that we're going, and Jen did it. She's looking around saying, hey, what's right here that I just could utilize in one way or another? So that was wonderful. So, and then the whistle is to let us know how we can help with that. All right, the next thing then is Pathways of Hope. And we've got some photographs from that where we, during the pandemic again, remember, we couldn't find a way to be able to do the same kind of food collections that we had before. So we started doing this drive-through, and many of you have probably gone through. You've seen this. You can see the Golden Girls are there. This is one of the things. And there were the items that we needed, when we were dropping off, the group that's going to do it the next month, and the group that was doing it. So we were able to just create a community. So it's not just collecting cans. It really is about the idea of creating community there. In fact, I won't call you up, but Doris, I think it was you that came up to me and said, I'd love to do this, but I don't have a group. And you created the Golden Girls, isn't that right? Just to do this. So I love that she did that. Ellen, if you come on up. And so, yeah, it's really wonderful the way in which we have been able to try to not just do things here at the church, but we've tried to create community together. Just like with the burrito breakfast, we almost have church together in that debrief time. And even as we kind of hang around, it's really fun to be able to have our different groups doing that. So Ellen oversees that and has a heart and passion for this ministry and Pathways of Hope. So if you would kind of maybe share some of the stats, because these are pretty overwhelming to me.
They are. They're very overwhelming. And at this point, it already looks like we have gone beyond last year. So that makes me excited. So far this year, we have collected 8,708 pounds of goods, which is 4 tons, yes. There's one man, those of you who go over there to deliver the goods after the Saturday morning, there's one man who just loves us, and I think he keeps his thumb on the scale, but I'm not sure about that. Just on a side note, how many of you have been a part of the collection? So if you look around, and how many of you have done it more than once? Yes. And I think really, to me, it's the community, it's the gathering, as Spencer says. And we have this year, 11 different groups will be meeting on the Saturdays. One group, and a shout out to Heart, they are doing it twice, 2 months in a row. Not always the same people, but we even had Andy Clifton came down, and he was part of our women's group last month. We have a wonderful time, and at the same time, we're helping our community. And while Second Harvest Food Bank, of course, is a huge, huge operation, and actually I do believe that they are part of donating to Pathways. What I love about Pathways is it's our people. It's people that you see on the street here in Fullerton and the surrounding areas. It's our people who are getting these goods, and that makes my heart warm. I taught in this city for many, many years, and I would say every year at least half of my kids received free or reduced lunch, and then they would go home, and you never knew if they were going to have another meal when they got home. And so hopefully these are the kinds of families who are coming to Pathways to benefit, to give the kids something, their whole family something to keep them going, fed, and healthy. So we've had approximately, and this is all approximate, I write down everybody's names as they drive through, but sometimes there are 2 or 3 people in the cart. So approximately so far this year, we've had 246 people donate. And we have had 88 workers. And we, as I said, will have had 11 different groups. Doris wins the prize for putting together a group of the Golden Girls and some of their guys. My husband even showed up that time. I was at a loss on who to provide the services last January, so I thought, why not alumni of the preschool? And since we probably wouldn't have enough of them, parents of alumni of the preschool who are no longer there, and that was so much fun. And what we're doing is we're gathering where it's like a church service, but it's more of a gathering of people with like-minded thoughts who want to help our community, and it's a lot of fun. I hope that you have fun when you come. I've gotten to know people that I didn't know very well. I'm always saying, oh, Thelma's here, there she goes. And the days she's not here, I wonder where she is. So I love this job. I would like to see it expand, and we'll see where it goes from here.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah, it really is amazing to see some people drive through, and this is the only connection they have with church. But we actually take attendance, and they're like, oh, yeah, I'm here, you know. And they want to be seen. It's the time that they can kind of have a touch on their hand or just a welcome and a thank you. And I think there might have been a picture of it where Ellen does these thank yous. And they're beautiful and wonderful, and everybody gets one as they go through. And if you'd like to help her participate with those, sometimes she just buys them on Amazon, sometimes they make them homemade, sometimes the preschool makes them, and that is so wonderful. But if you wanted to talk to her about helping with some of the thank yous, I'd appreciate you connecting with her. Well, the next one, last one actually, Terry, if you'll come on up. We just recently did the backpacks and school supplies for the Fullerton College group. And this is a new opportunity. And I want you to know that we will continue to iterate or learn and grow and change with the things that we're doing. Because you can't just do it and say it's done. You have to keep on it all the time, working on it, loving people, caring for people, continuing to nurture people, and the leadership especially. But then the other is we can step beyond. So Terry started off as our first burrito breakfast leader, and now we are stepping into some unknown territory. Talk to us a little bit about where we're headed here.
All righty. After working the pancake breakfast and the burrito breakfast, I really felt the urge to do something so that people wouldn't have to come eat at the burrito breakfast, to keep people off the street in the first place. And I'd had, through my teaching career, many, many foster kids and kids from bad situations. And then I heard this statistic that at 18 months after aging out of foster care, 40 to 50% of those kids end up homeless. And it just broke my heart. I thought, this is, this can't be happening. Somebody has to do something. And I kind of, as happens to me, I have a word with God and say, why are you letting this happen? Somebody should do something. And God says, well, hi there, somebody. What are you going to do? And so I thought, oh, okay. So I did some research on the internet, and I found out that Fullerton College, right up the street, has an amazing program, and it's all community colleges, EOPS, which stands for Educational Opportunities, Programs, and Services. And it's a statewide program to help disadvantaged kids, foster kids, and single parents, is what it started out with, to get enrolled in community college and to keep them in the program so they can actually get job skills, whether vocational skills or transfer skills, and succeed at education and have a future where they can have a job and support themselves. So I made an appointment with the office up here at Fullerton College, and Spencer and I went to talk to them and see what we could do. And when we were there, we discovered they just started a third component, and they're all in the same office, to serve previously incarcerated students, whether they've been in juvenile hall or, and then sometimes it carries over into adulthood too, to help them as well. So those three groups, the foster kids, the single parents, and the formerly incarcerated students.
And so we were talking with them. Normally you come in, again, this unexpected ministry idea, and normally we'd come in and tell them what we're going to do, right? But
Right. I had all these brilliant ideas that I thought we should do. Yeah. But then we started talking to them, and this is something I learned from Spencer, and he brought it up is, wait, we need to ask them what they need, not what I think they need. And Spencer uses the word gaps, and he asked them, what gaps do you have that maybe we can fulfill? And those two women just lit up like, oh, with our new program for incarcerated people, it's a brand new program. We haven't had time to write grants, and we have no way to get them school supplies. And everybody likes to provide school supplies for the little kids with the pretty pencils and crayons and stuff, but adults just don't come up. And so we jumped on that, and you guys, as you saw from the pictures, came through big time. We took over 2 carloads of stuff for them, and they were so excited, and it was an awesome thing. And we're going to do that again in the spring. So we're still looking at ways, and I'd like to meet with them again. They gave us lots of good ideas to see, again, I want to do what else can we do to help you out.
That's wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Terry. We so appreciate it. Absolutely.